Hi, I'm back, Dick Boucher, Sandy Hill Locomotive Works. Welcome back to my channel. The New England Model Engineering Society had a very successful show a couple of weeks ago in Waltham at the Charles River Museum of Industry and Innovation. We had 630 people come through the gate to see the exhibits that the members had put together. One of the things I brought, which I spent the day enjoying people, men and women, mind you, reminiscing about what they had when they were young people. So here it is. Basically, it's 3 or 4 sets of pieces that I found at various yard sales and flea markets, and kind of had these when I was a kid and really loved them. I think the biggest set I ever got was a 3.5, but it did have the motor with it. And this particular piece here would have been built with a 7.5 set. I just enjoyed putting it together. I kind of marveled at the fact that we were 10 to 12 years old, maybe up as much as 14. We could build one of these things with an Erector set, because after all my years of experience building machines and repairing machines and building tools and dies and building test sets and building models for Bell Laboratories, I had to think about putting this thing together. There was some things, it's just one little drawing that you get for this. There are no details, and you had to kind of figure out how things went. So, but I did have a very enjoyable day. Folks kept constantly coming up. Oh yeah, I remember I had one of these, and you know, you'd see a longing, long ago look in their eyes. And like I say, this is not an actual set. It's just pieces I've cobbled together. Now, my wife says to me, you see, it's a fairly good sized unit. My wife said to me, now that you've built it, where are you going to put it? The concept is you take it apart, put it back in its box, and then you build something else. So maybe the next time I show you something from the Erector set, it's going to be the Ferris wheel. I had originally thought of building the Ferris wheel. I have enough parts for the Ferris wheel. But then I got to thinking this walking beam engine would probably be more appropriate for the model engineering show. So I haven't seen any posting yet of anybody. I got halfway there and I remembered that I had forgotten my camera, so I wasn't about to turn around and come back and get it, so I didn't get any pictures of the show. The current issue, the March issue of the Nemes Gazette, has got some still photos. When the webmaster gets that posted, if you want to see some of the things that are at the show, go on to the New England Model Engineering Society site and check out the newsletter for March and see some of the other exhibits were there. Along with this, I had my Craters popcorn engine and my Rudy Cahoot mine engine, table engine, steeple engine. There are a number of names for the thing, but I think I've mentioned that in previous videos. So anyhow, there we have it. Erector set. Had a lot of fun with it when I was a kid, and kind of enjoying having enough pieces to put something together occasionally now. All right, so now on to the serious things we got to do here. We've got to get going on the boiler. Done some work on the boiler up ahead of time now. And like I say, I started working on this fire engine and then decided to start videoing it. So some of the parts are made, and there's explanations of where I'm going, and the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be forming a spacer to go between the fire door and the wrapper. And as I get over to the boiler, I'll explain to you why that's come about. So let's move on to the boiler. All right, here we've got the boiler pieces. The drawing calls for a 5 1/4 inch tube. I had quite a stock of 5 1/8 inch tube, and then there's a 5 1/2 dimension outside the lagging. So I made up these rings that will bring me up to a 5 1/2 inch diameter with the lagging. Now, one of the things I got to do, this ring comes down a ways, and this is the support for the big cast stack that was there. The bottom, I haven't quite figured out where it goes yet. This is the firebox. I had to make this section here that goes between the firebox and the boiler body itself. So that unit all fits in here nicely now. Fits so nicely it has to go in nice and straight and square. And that will line up with that. This flange plate is the top of the firebox. And now what I've got to do is I've got to make a spacer to go around here and the boiler wrapper to space that out so that the wrapper, there'll be lagging in here. And then some of the other things that I had to kind of modify. This is a brake hanger, so this piece here had to go between the body and the hanger, and it's all mounted on these little studs. So let's get on with manufacturing this this flange here. Now I've already annealed the piece of copper, and annealing, heat it up, cherry red, quench it in water. And I've got to make sure that I set it the right way here. Yeah. All right, let's go over to the vise and do this. This is the same fixture I used to make the spaces between the other two there. The annealed copper just follows around there very easily. So there we have it. This piece doesn't have to be steam tight. It's on the outside of the boiler. Now I've got to re-anneal it and then form it to the boiler itself. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me above the roar of the torque here. So we're going to bring this thing up to red heat. It. Gonna flip it around, and I'm gonna get that little section that was underneath the pliers. Okay, there you have it. And Robert's your father's brother. Or as they say in England, Bob's your uncle. A little bit of a trip to the oh, for crying out loud. Pickle pot, that's what I want to say, into the pickling. Leave it there overnight. Tomorrow morning clean it up, and I'll have a go at forming it to the boiler tube.